Hola, soy el profesor Antón García Fernández. Welcome to a new video on this YouTube channel aimed at clarifying certain aspects of Spanish grammar which are sometimes a little bit difficult to understand for my students at the university. On this video, we're going to talk about possessive adjectives, that is, words that indicate possession. In English, we have words such as my, your, his, her, its, our, and their, and they indicate possession. In Spanish, we also have words like these, but they are not used exactly in the same way as in English. For example, this is a book, un libro, and I could say my book, mi libro, mi libro, mi with no accent, mi libro. If I wanted to say your book, then I would say tu libro, tu libro. That's written T-U with no accent, tu libro. That is, of course, the informal version, when I know the person that I am talking to. But if we are in a formal situation, when I don't know the person that I'm talking to very well, when this person is older or in a more important position than I, then I would not say tu libro, I would say su libro, su libro. Este es su libro, su. Now, it could be that I own 2 books. And in that case, I would say mis libros, with an S at the end, still no accent. Mis libros, mis libros. When I'm talking about your books, then I would say tus libros, with an S at the end and no accent, tus libros. Note that we make both the word for book and the word for my or your plural. Mis libros, because it's more than one book. Tus libros, because again, it's more than one book. If we are in a formal context, instead of tus libros, I would say sus libros, also with an S at the end, S-U-S, sus libros, sus libros. Now, it could happen that this book belongs to somebody else, not to me, not to you, but to a third person, his or her book. In that case, I would say again, as in the formal version of tu, su libro, meaning his book or her book. Su libro, su libro. If this person had more than one book, then I would make it plural. Sus libros, sus libros. Note that we only have to worry about the number of books, not about the gender of the word book. Libro is masculine. Mi libro. Mis libros. Here I have a playing card, for example. En español, la carta o una carta, it's a feminine word. I could still say mi carta, same form, mi carta. Tu carta, tu carta. Or if it's formal, for your playing card, su carta, su carta. For his or her, then again we say su carta, su carta. And of course, if it's plural, here I have 2 playing cards. So mis cartas, tus cartas, tus cartas. In the formal version of your, sus cartas, sus cartas. And for his or her, again, sus cartas, sus cartas. So we don't have to worry in these cases about the gender. We only have to worry about the number of things that we own. Now, when we're talking about our, if we have a book, for example, what we need to say in the case of our book is nuestro libro, nuestro libro, ending in O, because the word for book is masculine and it's also singular. Nuestro libro. If we had two books or more than one book, our books, then we would have to make it plural. Nuestros libros, nuestros libros, adding an S for the plural. Nuestros libros. Now, in the case of our, nuestro, if the word is feminine, if I want to say our playing card, then I would have to make it feminine in this case. Nuestra carta, with an A at the end for the feminine. The word carta is feminine, so nuestra carta, nuestra carta. It doesn't matter that I am male. What matters is the noun for the word playing card. Nuestra carta, nuestra carta. We have more than one playing card, and I want to say our playing cards. Then I will say nuestras cartas, nuestras cartas. You have to make it plural, and you also have to make it feminine. Nuestras cartas. Please note that this happens only with the case of our, which could be nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras, depending on the noun that follows the possessive adjective. Now, what happens if I'm talking to a group of people and I want to say your book, as in talking to a whole group of people, like, for example, a class full of students? Then what I would say is, for your book in the plural, your being plural, then I would say again, su libro, su libro. For example, if I want to say in the class, open your book or open your books, then I would say, abran su libro, or in the plural, abran sus libros, sus libros. That's what we use for the plural of your. Same thing with a feminine word like carta. If I'm talking to a group of people, then I would say, as in your playing card in a group of people, su carta. If it's more than one playing card, sus cartas. Now, if I want to talk about something, like this book, for example, that is owned by two different people, not me, not you, but two other people, making it their book, then once again, I'm going to say su libro, su libro. It's only one book. But if there were two books, then I would say sus libros, as in their books, sus libros. Same thing with a feminine word. With su or sus, we don't have to worry about the gender, we only have to worry about the number. If this is their playing card, I will say su carta, su carta. If they have more than one playing card, their playing cards, then I will say sus cartas, sus cartas. The difficulty here lies in the fact that the word su could mean a lot of things. It could mean your in the singular, in the formal version of it. It could also mean his or her. It could also mean your in the plural when you're talking to a whole group of people. And it could also mean their. So there's a lot of meanings of the possessive su in this case. Now, one thing that indicates possession that in Spanish we never have is the construction with an apostrophe S, what is known as the Saxon genitive. Like when we say, for example, this is John's book. We put an apostrophe S and we indicate that this book belongs to John. John's book. In Spanish, we cannot do this. We have to use a construction with the preposition de. I could say, el libro de John. La carta de John. Los libros de John. Las cartas de John. So whatever you do when you indicate possession with the name of somebody or refer to a specific person, for example, my father's book, el libro de mi padre. El libro de mi padre. You will never use in Spanish the apostrophe S to indicate possession. The apostrophe S simply does not exist in Spanish. And this is a very common error that students make at the university level, to think that in Spanish we can use the apostrophe S construction just like in English. But we don't. In Spanish we need the preposition de. If I want to say, for example, my mother's house, the word for house is la casa. So what I will say is la casa de mi madre. La casa de mi madre. I hope this will help clarify the paradigm of the possessive adjectives as well as the wrong usage of the apostrophe S in Spanish, which could never be used in Spanish. Remember, I'll say it one more time, never use the apostrophe S construction. That's just an English construction. In Spanish, we need the preposition de. I hope you found this review of possessive adjectives and possessive constructions helpful. Muchas gracias y hasta la próxima.